Welcome back to the Lexi Zucchini channel. Today it's Girls' Day.
So yes, it is Girls' Day. We are gonna head out to Lexi's favorite spot for breakfast. And then we do have some shopping to do, but not the kind of shopping you might think. Where did we decide to come, Lexi? Where did we decide to come?
McDonald's.
Lexi's favorite, McDonald's pancakes for breakfast. She'll still eat my pancakes on occasion, but she does eat my homemade waffles at least. But on treatment, it was always the pre-poke pancake, and that's how that tradition got started. So that's always her favorite breakfast now. So we're gonna eat, and then we gotta get to our shopping. Done with breakfast, and now it is time to go shopping.
Why are there lunchboxes out in this time?
For people who might need them over the summer. Go ahead and get one of the big sets of pots. How many's in there? How many's in this big set?
This
Yeah. How many is that?
about 8 pots.
Perfect. We'll just get those. Here's our beans. Okay. Gotta figure out what else we need. He wants green peppers, but not jalapeno peppers. So these are Fairy Morse tomatoes. And no, we want the back to the roots tomatoes. Say beefsteak tomato? Yeah, grab one of those beefsteak tomatoes. And then we also need carrots.
Carrots?
Uh-huh.
Is this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we need, do you see any green pepper?
Green pepper.
I see cayenne peppers, but I don't see any green peppers. We got the goods. Now it's time to get home and start our planting. All right, so we're getting ready to plant here. So we have got beans. We're gonna do a bigger plot of beans. I used the Burpee Organic. And these are bush beans, so we'll sow these directly into the ground. No need to plant these ahead. So anything that's going directly in the ground, you don't want to plant before Mother's Day. So we're going to do this Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully that's the last frost. The ground will be warm enough. All the things. The other thing that we're going to try is these carrots. He really wanted carrots, my father-in-law. But carrot seeds are very tiny, and you have to plant them so far apart. So I thought it best to get this seed tape. I've used it in the past with lettuce. It's basically just some biodegradable papery substance that encapsulates the seed, and you just roll it out kind of like a tape measure and then cut it off for where you need it in between the seeds, and they're already ready to go. So just a 1/2 inch, cover it with soil, lay out your seed tape, and then get it nice and moist. Keep it nice and moist in there evenly, and then once your green little sprouts come up, your carrots will go down, so you don't want your soil too firmly packed. So we got a couple of these, and then the other thing that he wanted that we had not tried from last year was green peppers, and we grew up on the farm growing green peppers, so I think I can handle green and red bell peppers pretty easily. We're gonna do a couple of the pepper seeds, and then he wanted the slicer tomatoes. Some cruel joke last year, we thought we had slicer tomatoes, and the seeds that were in the package were actually cherry tomatoes. We had no slicer tomato plants. So hopefully these seeds are correct this year, and we're gonna have these nice, delicious, like the big fat slicers that you could put on a burger. So we're gonna do that. And then he also wants strawberries. Strawberries, we have to actually start with a plant this year if you want strawberries this year. If we tried to grow them from seeds, we probably wouldn't have strawberries until next year. They're a volunteer plant, so we can put them in this long planter box, and then they'll come up again next year. So the one plant will just keep on coming up year after year. All right, so are you ready, Lexi?
Yeah.
Let's get ready and get our stuff together. All right, so I got some of these leftover Jiffy pots from last year. So that is the plan. I couldn't remember how many of these I had. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I have just enough. I bought a whole other package just in case. It's always good to have extras. But these are some organic, peat-free type of pots. Organic is always best. No chemicals on your food, right? And then we still have our whole setup that Grandma got us from last year. So that's pretty awesome. So we'll put these off to the side. And then we're just using Jiffy's mix again. My mom always used Miracle Grow moisture control, but we think what we're going to do, we couldn't find the smaller bags of it, is get the bigger bags of the moisture control for the pots on the deck. And we're going to mix that in because that's really good. It helps sealing in that moisture for the plants when it rains. Plus we have got the globes to fill with water that are like self-watering. So that will be really awesome too. So we are going to start with these pepper plants. So you're supposed to start planting the pepper plants in our area. You transplant them in May and June. So that's why we're starting it towards the beginning of April. So by the time the pepper plants are big enough, it's like what? The middle of May right now is like what? 13th, 14th. By the time Mother's Day rolls around on the 10th, the weekend of the 10th, we'll be ready to plant. So we are going to get some soil into all right. So do you want to put your gloves on?
Yeah.
So basically you're just going to take the soil and you're going to fill up this pot, not completely all the way. This little girl does not like dirt. So she wears gardening gloves. When we were on the farm, we did not. What are you? No. You're going to use your spoon.
Oh, my spoon. Oh, the spoon.
Yeah. And we'll try not to make a mess. Good job. You don't have to shake that off. Just dump it on in there. There you go. You don't want the soil to be too firmly packed. You want your roots to be able to get down in there. And the way to know when these are ready to transplant is their roots will start breaking through the sides. The sides of this little pot will get moist. You're supposed to be able to plant in this pot, but sometimes you have to rip these pots. If they're not super duper moist, yeah, let me see. Let me do this last little bit. Okay. Now then, we've got all our soil in here. Time to put our seeds in. All right, so we've got both of our pots for our pepper plants ready. So this says always follow the directions on your packet of seeds for these Burfee ones. It says to plant 1/4 of an inch deep. So you're going to take your little gloved finger and you are going to poke a hole in the center there about 1/4 of an inch deep.
I don't know.
So let's use this one. That's probably good. And poke a hole in the center there. That's good. Yep, that's good. Now, let me see if I can.
How tiny are they?
They're tiny, all right. Let's see if I can show the camera what these seeds look like. there they are. Tiny little seeds. So if you want to put a seed in there, you'll have to take off your glove.
Yes.
Just one seed in each little hole.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then put one seed in that hole. Now, we can always plant more later and save these if for whatever reason ours don't come up, but we usually have pretty good luck. I don't really feel like they need to do any extras. Now, gently, you're going to cover over the top. You're gonna gently just brush the soil back over the top of your seed. Let's see. Yeah. Good. Now you're gonna do the same thing with this one. All right, let's see. Yep. Now we have to take our little craft sticks here. And we have to write on them so we know what they are. And each of these are peppers. So, do you know how to spell pepper? How do you spell pepper? P-E-P-P-E-R. Now that's a permanent marker, okay? So write pepper towards the top here. No, towards the top. Start right there.
Is it gonna go that way?
Yeah, just write the word pepper.
Okay.
P E P P E R. Let's see. Good job. So then we stick this in here. So we know that that's our pepper plants, which hopefully I could tell by looking because they do look different than a tomato plant, but you know, you want to know. All right, so we got to do that for the other one, and then we'll plant our tomato seed. So for these tomato seeds, it is the same thing. For the Midwest, you don't transplant until May or June. And so we are gonna make a little hole, 1/4 inch hole into each one. So go ahead.
Tell me when to stop.
Just go, that's good. No, deeper than that. Just like you did before, there you go. All right, same thing. Yeah, pretty good. See if I can get these.
Are tomato seeds really tiny?
Do you remember from last year? No?
Yeah,
Tomato seeds are even tinier than the pepper seeds. Let me see if I can.
The peppers and the tomatoes look the exact same.
Not quite. Let me see if I can show the camera. There's your tomato seeds. Tiny, tiny. All right, so.
Which one has the tiniest?
I mean, tomatoes and peppers are pretty small seeds. Like these carrot seeds are pretty small too. Beans are real big, fat seeds.
Okay.
Lettuce is pretty tiny.
I don't want to get like next to me like two. Is it there? Is it there?
That's it, right? Isn't that the one you put in there?
Uh-huh.
Did you get it?
It's right there.
Very good. And then I'll dump this other little seed back in there. And again, we will save these other seeds, right? In case we need them.
Now let's
You're gonna cover, gently cover stuff back up.
perfect.
Okay. And now we need to make one that says tomato to put in there.
I think I know how
Do you know how to spell tomato? How do you spell tomato?
T-O-M-A-T-O.
No, tomato. Tomato. You were close though. So go ahead and write tomato on here and we'll get ready to do the next step. So I have the same setup my mom had from last year, which is just these little plastic trays hold up this little sheeting, and you pour water down in here, and this sheeting gets nice and wet on the bottom, and it will keep your plants moist from the root up. And then we have this heat mat for when you're starting the seeds. You want the soil nice and warm and moist because you're starting them indoors. So it's too cold outside, right? And we don't have a greenhouse, so we have to do them indoors. My mom has a greenhouse. So we'll plug in this heat mat. And so the mat is on a well-drained surface, right? You don't want any standing water. So basically, you're going to stick this plastic thing on top of the mat. And then plug it in. And you're going to take this and it just goes inside your soil and it will test the temperature of your soil. And it even shows you on the mat like what the temperatures you want things to be. And so tomatoes, it says how many days or hours. So like 6 days for tomatoes before they come up. And then once they come up, you can get rid of the heat mat once you've got your plants coming up because you have your light over the top too. So is you put all of your pots on top of here. So hopefully I have room for all 4. I think I do. So there's the tomatoes. And there's the peppers. Let me see if I can, there we go. So then we're gonna keep this watered and I'm gonna plug in our little heat mat here. So I'm gonna put this directly in the soil. And then you can adjust the temperature. Right now we have it set to 68 degrees. So this goes here. And then it's got a little suction cup on it. And what you do is you just suction cup it to the table so that it doesn't come loose like that. Perfect. Now we have to do our light. And I had hooks like this and cannot find the other one. So these are those hooks that we bought at Walmart. Okay, now we plug in our lamp. And there we are. So all we have to do is put more, you wanna come over here and see?
Yeah.
Come over here. So all we have to do is add some more water to the tray, and then we're gonna go ahead and moisten the top of the pots as well so they're nice and moist But we're all set until it's time to plant into the ground. You did good, baby. So we've got 2 pepper plants over there and 2 tomato plants over here. But you want your light pretty close to your plant, because if you put the light way up here, when the seed comes up and it sprouts, it gets what they call really leggy, and it gets a really long stem or a stalk, and it tries to grow up towards the light. And so you want a nice thick stem to start out with on your plants. So that's why you should keep the light close to your plants. But we don't actually have to turn the light on until we see the plant start to come up. Then you want to turn the light on. So for now, we're just going to get some water on here and leave the light off. Okay? This little switch turned off the light. So we've got a nice little setup here. Now, if we had used smaller pots, you could fit more on here. Like you could fit like a whole tray worth of stuff on here. But we do not, we're only planting, like I say, when you do a deck garden and then the rest of your stuff has to get planted directly in the ground, you don't have to worry about it as much. So, all right. I think that's it. Time for some lunch, huh?
Yeah.
So what do you want to tell everyone?
Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we upload our video. Bye.
Bye, guys.